Hello, it's Liz Blake speaking, and it's nice to see you again. This is number 15 of 30 Days Live, and so tonight, just spending a few minutes on what is important in sales. So, what is important in sales? Is it the rate or the number? So, because in business, when you're in business, obviously sales matter. They really matter. Now, of course, many of us, and particularly my clients, really love to help people, and but still, sales really matter. Okay, because when we're working with people, obviously, we're selling a product or a service. It's a transaction of value, and of course, the value is far far higher than the price paid. But so in sales, though, what is more important? Is it the rate, like how close the sales are together, or is it the number, the totals? Now, that's a very good question. And I know where most people's minds go, but it'd be interesting to see where your mind went. So to grow or scale a business, as an entrepreneur, to grow or scale a business requires marketing your products and services. Nothing happens just by chance. Well, maybe one day it does, but it's not repeatable. So many of our activities, and you don't get this in when you do courses on business and that the marketing. I mean, I know this because I've taught it, and I've seen many courses for business, even entrepreneurship. But you're not taught about marketing in an effective way. Put it this way: if the people who are really really good at marketing are out there doing it, and that's just to say it bluntly, it really is, because there's an awful lot more money in marketing successfully for a good product or a good service, but marketing successfully than teaching. Okay, but teaching is safe, and that's not being disparaging to anybody. I'm just saying things as they are. So in business, a lot of what we do is a lot of activities around sales or conversion. So what's conversion? In fact, all of you will know this, obviously, but we have traffic first by different means, but it's the conversion that's the question. How many of these will become that, and it's the lack of conversion in the rate, the speed of conversion, or the number, both actually, but it's the lack in that or the weakness in that area that is the source of the biggest frustration, the greatest pain as an entrepreneur in getting going or scaling. It's it's where your goals constantly elude you, and where your doubt goes up, and when we're going from one level to another, it's quite a transition point, and so you're when there's not enough conversions, that when there's not enough sales coming in, your uncertainty goes up, your self-doubt goes up, your confidence goes down, and actually there's even things like frustrated mission. Your sense of mission is even frustrated, and that's not a great thing. So it's very very important. So the usual approach in the industry, now I am generalizing, but the vast majority of in the industry, the approach, and whether they might say one thing, but what they do is a different thing. Okay, so I'm very careful who I follow. It's what they do. Are they teaching one strategy and doing doing a different strategy? That's not great. Okay, but the usual approach in the industry, as far as doing action, is going for maximum traffic. That's reaching maximum amount of people. Could be by ads or organic. Sorry, let's take a sip. But the question is, what is the conversion? For conversion of traffic, it's you're wanting to go from leads, traffic to leads to people you work with. Obviously, now this is services. If it's a product, it'll be the products that you're selling to. But there are rules of thumb in these conversions, and most people don't know this. Do you know that there is a conversion rate, a kind of a rule of thumb for when you're working with a large group? Like if you've got a large group and you're selling your product or service, what's the percentage that you can expect to sell, or if you don't, you can know that, hang on, what have I got wrong? What have I got wrong? What am I off track with? Or if you're above, that's like, I'm doing great. So there is a rule of thumb for large groups when you're working with large groups. There's a rule of thumb that is different when you're working with small groups. And there's a rule of thumb that is very different when you're working one-on-one with people. And it's a very attractive difference, but it depends what your goals are. And this is important. So, but in the industry, it is fixated in the action. It's fixated generally on things like pay per, the cost per click. That's for advertising, but it's sort of like how much each click if you're advertising, how many clicks, are going to end up in a sale, and what's the cost of that? What's the cost per click? So that's looking at numbers of high numbers of traffic. Okay, but that's really not the point. The point is, really, who cares about the cost per click? It's if you're getting the people in. Okay, so there's a bit more to this, and this is why, of course, I work with people. But just being, put it this way, I'm sure most of you have heard the saying about throw enough mud at the wall and something will stick. Throw enough at the wall so it'll stick. Now, that could be stacks of ads. It could be stacks of emails. Now, the sad thing is, the tragic thing is, those become just like nagging drops of water. But what's converting into sales? That's the important thing. There are strategies. There is a strategy, obviously, or I wouldn't be talking about this. There's a strategy that, and there are for different goals, there's different strategies, but there is a very core strategy that works incredibly well. And it's I'll leave that there. So the rate of conversions, yes. So what's really, really important, obviously, is the conversion of the people you reach out to, who of those, and how fast, how many and how fast are they engaging with you, and is that resulting in sales? So the rate of conversions, and I can tell you from many years of experience, it's the rate of conversions, becoming your client, the rate that is very, very important, as not just the numbers, because this is how you need the rate, the speed of sales, not just the number of sales. Like 100 sales over this amount of time is not worth anything like the 100 sales in that amount of time, or that amount of time. Nothing like, because this is the magic of momentum. That's one of my favorite topics, momentum and leverage. They're a couple of very important things in business. So, but for this momentum, to get this momentum, you do need a strategy, and obviously that's we're working at. But have a think about those things. Just a few little, a big question there of what is more important in sales. Did you learn something? Leave a comment if you like. I'd love to hear from you. If you'd thought about the rate of sales before, and the importance of compacting that process of attraction into engaging your clients and turning, and so that they become raving fans. Okay, good night for now.